to the cloud and let me let one of my colleagues in. Delightful. And I'm going to give them some authority. Okay. So welcome everybody. Let's dive in. We do like to start all of our events, all of our public events with a land acknowledgement, recognizing the Nacotchtank and the Piscataway people, the first residents of the land that would become the District of Columbia. Every community owes its existence and vitality to generations from around the world who contributed their hopes, dreams, and energy to making the history that led to this moment. Some were brought here against their will, some were drawn to leave their distant homes in hope of a better life, and some have lived on this land for more generations than can be counted. Truth and acknowledgement are critical to building mutual respect and connection across all barriers of heritage and difference. We begin this effort to acknowledge what has been buried by honoring the truth. We stand on the ancestral lands of the Nacotchtank and the Piscataway people. We pay respects to their elders past and present. Please take a moment to consider the many legacies of violence, displacement, migration, and settlement that bring us together here today. And please join us in uncovering such truths at any and all public events and to use such truths to guide the legacy of this Arts Commission. All right. So, a couple of quick housekeeping notes just as we are starting. We're going to go through the information about the General Operating Support Grant. If you have any questions, like I said, when is the due date? Do we qualify? How do I upload my work samples? Refresh my memory? What's going on? Where am I? Anything like that, go ahead and drop a question in the chat. I have one of my colleagues here, Benjamin Wills, is helping us out, and he is going to answer questions as best he can as well, and he'll tap me in if we need to. So yeah, do please make sure you're asking your questions as we go. And we are also collecting them. We'll put out a Q&A document on our website as well. Okay. So here's the agenda for today. We're going to do a welcome. We did that. Welcome. And we'll do a quick overview of the grant. We'll go over what has changed for FY27, and we'll do some quick discussion of the application access, narrative questions, scoring criteria, all these good things. And so we're going to get going. All right. So this is the General Operating Support Grant. I imagine many of you here are somewhat familiar with this grant. This is one of our grants where you must be incorporated as a nonprofit under 501c3 of the U.S. Internal Revenue Service Code. We do need that determination letter. We want you to be an organization with a primary mission focus in one or more of the arts or humanities disciplines, as referenced in our guide to grants, which is, we have I think our 26 edition is up on our website and our 27 is forthcoming. And we want the majority of your activities or services concentrated on and devoted to the arts and or humanities. We want you to be doing at least 51% of your activities within the District of Columbia, and that your grant dollars are used to support DC personnel and programming. And I highlighted a line here. This line about on 5 of have received CAH GOS funding award. This is just for multi-year awards. So we're covering in this grant the single year award and the multi-year award. If you are interested in the multi-year award, we do have a Q&A later today that you can also find on our Eventbrite page and register there. If you are very first time applying to GOS, you have never done this before, we would like you to have received at least one other competitive grant for us. That could be our capital projects, our education, or our projects, events, or festivals. If you are interested in the multi-year, we want you to have received GOS funding currently, so current FY26 award and 2 additional awards within the last 5 years. So that's 3 years total. And I've got another dive into this later on. So yeah, and yeah. If you are currently receiving the multi-year, though, you do need to apply for the single year. Like I said, we'll get into that in a moment. some other general eligibility questions about the general operating support, and all of this is in our RFA. It's in our request for applications on our website. I do recommend reading through that a couple of times, that it has a lot of the information we're going over today. But the big thing to note here is we want you to be in good standing with CAH. If you have any questions about that, reach out to your grant manager. The primary designation we have about good standing is that we've got your reports up to date. And I know there's been a lot of questions about the interim reports because we have recently switched over to a new system. So we are putting that information out as it is available to us. But we have pushed back the interim report deadline. And if you have not heard from a grant manager about your interim reports, you will hear about it very shortly. All right. So a couple of grant restrictions for the GOS grantees. One thing to note is that if you apply to the FY27 and receive the FY27 GOS single or multi-year, you may be restricted from applying to some of our other grants. The big thing is the scope of work cannot be duplicated in another project-based request. So what that might be is if in your general operating support application, you say, hey, one of our programs that we're going to fund with this grant is an after-school arts program that serves 3 schools around us. That's so great. Wonderful. You cannot then go to the Arts and Humanities Education Projects grant and say, hey, we want to fund an after-school program for these 3 schools that we've already said we were serving. We just don't want that duplicated. You could expand. You could say for the AHAP, the Education Projects grant, we are funding them through GOS. We'd like to expand to another 2 schools. And that would be an okay request. If you have questions about that, when those other grants come open, that's when you want to talk to those grant managers. Projects, events, festivals, and e-starts should be opening shortly, and the education ones are opening later in the year. The other big one is all GOS recipients are not eligible to receive the projects, events, or festivals grant. That's the big no cross-pollination one. But you can apply for additional grants on top of GOS. It's not a one and done thing. All right. So the deadlines. The application is open now. It has been open for several weeks. This is very exciting. And the application will close on May 5th at 5 p.m. Incomplete or late applications may be deemed ineligible for review or funding. We do recommend you read through the RFA, the request for applications, completely before submitting. If you have any questions about your status or anything like that, contact a CAH grant manager. You can contact me. I will put my email in the chat. You can contact any grant manager. If you have an existing relationship with them, absolutely reach out to them. If I or Ben or anybody else is not the right person to talk to, we will get you the right person to talk to. And then all applications are reviewed and scored by a panel of arts professionals, and the award amounts vary. All right. A note on paneling, as I mentioned there, the GOS multi-year applicants, if that is the route you go down, you will not undergo the peer-reviewed process that all of our other grants go under. We will do an internal review for eligibility and completion. And your award, if you are eligible for the multi-year, will receive your funding based on your current FY26 award. So this is the applying for the FY27 multi-year. It is based on the current FY26 award. Those award amounts will be subject available to funds. You will not receive a larger award than you currently have. If we do adjust the award amounts, they will be adjusted equally. So for example, if we experience a 10% budget reduction, your award amount may be reduced by that same 10% overall. And all grant programs will experience a similar funding adjustment. So if we as an agency are experiencing a 10% reduction, everything is going to receive a 10% reduction. If you are a current multi-year recipient, if your grant contract with us says multi, GOS-multi, you need to apply for the single year this year. And you would apply for the single year with the intent that the multi-year would be an FY28. I know it's a lot of years to keep track. We have charts, but we're here to help and answer questions as we go. All right. Any major questions I should answer from the chat, Ben, or if folks want to come off mute and ask a question?
We're doing pretty good so far, but if anyone wants to jump in with the question, please feel free. But I think we're pretty good on the chat questions so far.
Thanks so much. I appreciate you being here. Okay, great. Then I'm going to keep us moving. All right, so single year versus multi-year. I've already talked about this a bit, but just a couple more notes on it for the multi-year funding. It is an opt-in. It is not a mandatory. If you are a current single year recipient and you say, I don't want to do this multi-year thing, it's too much, great, keep it on the single year. It is the same timeline as the single year grant if you opt for multi-year. It is due May 5th at 5 p.m. If you received the multi-year grant current FY26, we need you to apply for the full grant for 27 with the possibility of extension into 28. So when you log in to the new portal and you're looking at which one you're going to apply to, it's the single year. If you are opting for multi-year, it's a simplified application. And if you have any questions about any of this, please reach out to CAH staff if you need some clarity on that or some guidance. And we'll try and keep an eye on things as we go as well. All right. If you do multi-year, it's a 2-year grant. It will be paid out in 4 payments through the DIF system. We do have the same reporting requirements of an interim and a final report. In year 2, we are aspiring to provide you with the same level of funding, but it is contingent upon the funds made available to us through our budget. I do recommend if people have questions about this and you are able to attend our Q&A this afternoon, please do that. Our Deputy Director, David Markey, will be there. And so that will be a good opportunity to ask a lot of questions. Right. But the intent of multi-year is to provide some stability and better long-term planning. If you think you might be eligible, you should be a current FY26 GOS grantee and have received a GOS grant in 2 of the last 5 years, in addition to that FY26. So 3 awards total. So it'd be like FY22, FY24, and FY26, or some combination. And it demonstrated a track record of compliance with grant requirements. There will be a review process. It's going to be an internal review. And you will have the option for in or out. If you do meet the requirements, we're just going to base your award off of your current FY26 award. Okay. That's actually the same slide twice. Okay, I'm going to shorten that. Ben, any serious questions I need to hop into? Oh, I see one about the...
Yeah, no, I just want to make it clear that the multi-year grant is not, as the title might make it seem, a multi-year grant. It's actually an extension of the single-year grant. So if you this fiscal year received a multi-year grant, that is actually an extension of your FY25 grant. And so at the end of this fiscal year, your multi-year grant is over. You'd have to reapply for a single-year grant, and then the following year extend it with a multi-year grant. It really should be called an extension instead of a multi-year. It's a little confusing, but that's how that process works.
Yes, you are exactly right, and I appreciate that clarity. Yes, it is the multi-year extension. All right, great. I will keep us moving forward. I know there's a lot of other questions about the new system. So a couple things on the writing tips. Keep a copy of the scoring criteria nearby when writing. Write to the criteria. We have updated the language around our criteria. We're going to get into that in a moment. But I do want to recommend read through the RFA, read through it again. In general, as you are preparing an application, we want to advise folks to avoid buzzwords and hyperbole. If you make any claims in the application, You should be able to back them up with support materials and work samples. If you are the saviors of music, you better be able to back that up somehow. I know you are. All of us who are doing this, but you want to be able to back up your claims. We do recommend that if somebody outside the organization reads your narrative responses and gives you feedback, it's always good to get that outside perspective. A lot of us are so close to the work, it's hard to imagine how things are coming across. And this is GOS, so you want to give us a complete picture of your organization and its work. We're looking at the general operating of it. And use accurate data when available and where appropriate. So the applications review and scoring will be reviewed and scored by a panel of arts and administrative professionals according to these criteria. And this is where we have our first big change from last year. So we have updated the language and made some changes. You may notice that we no longer have an IDEA section for accessibility, equity, diversity, and everything. That has been replaced language-wise by community access and engagement and community impact. So first big thing to note. So arts, first segment is going to be the arts, humanities, and or arts education merit. We want to see your mission and vision. We want to see that supported by your work samples and support materials. Your programs and projects demonstrate your knowledge of and skills in your content area. You're utilizing personnel with demonstrated expertise for those programs. Capacity and sustainability. We want to see that you are demonstrating through your support materials and your financial documents that you've got the appropriate oversight, financial controls, and governance to deliver your services and programming, and that you have the next necessary expertise and administrative personnel in place to do that work. Community access and engagement. We want to see some intentionality in ensuring that your programming is accessible to diverse communities. And we want to see a demonstration that that DC residents are the core audience for your programming and services. And then community impact, we want to see some qualitative and quantitative evaluation strategies. How are you determining your impact and changes to your programming to ensure your growth? And a commitment to hiring DC resident arts and humanities professionals when available. We do have, excuse me, a workshop next Friday on impact and engagement and access in the community. Again, that is available on our Eventbrite for you to register. And that is an opportunity to get some more information on how we're approaching this. Okay. Yes, that is that workshop, highlighting culture and community in your grant application. So this is where you get tips to better ensure your application will highlight some of those areas around cultural impact, access, and engagement. I do recommend you register on Eventbrite. You will find all of our workshops there. Everything that we are putting out will post there. And so the next one is next Friday, April 24th at 3 p.m. And then do reach out. Oh, yes.
I went ahead and dropped the link to our website that has all the workshops listed there. So you can go ahead and follow that link as well. But registering on the Eventbrite also means you're getting the emails as those come up, so you don't have to remember to check it. I'm also going to drop the future live chats that we have coming up. The next one being Friday, April 17th, where it's kind of just come and ask any questions you may have about applying, about grants, about anything you want, or just hang out with us.
I love hanging out with us. Thanks, Ben. All right. Any questions so far? I know I'm tearing through a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I answered a question about LLCs applying. Sorry, 501c3s or fellowships, but that's all we got so far.
Great, cool. And then yes, thank you, Ben, for dropping those workshops in. We do have live chats and additional workshops coming up, so we do have a lot of opportunities to access us. We're trying to help as best we can. All right. So we've had some big questions about the portal. This is the other major change this year, so we're going to dive into this. So up until this point, everything will be the same as last year. Head to our website, dcarts.dc.gov, go to programs, go to grants, and you will find yourself on our grants page, which has a list to all of our current funding opportunities, access to our assistance, If you are interested in being a panelist or signing someone else to be a panelist, some information about that here. And then in the general grants resources, you're going to find two links to the grant application portal, one for jungle lasers and one for submittable. We are using submittable now. Use this link. You can forget about the jungle lasers business. You may have heard us call it that or the portal or anything like that. We are on submittable now. Right. So let's take a look at that. I'm going to stop sharing this screen for a moment, and I'm going to switch to a different screen.
If you want to
Yeah.
follow along with this process, I'm dropping the link to get to that in the chat.
Yeah. All right. So you should see our website. We do. Great. Here it is, our website, as promised. You could go to programs and go to grants, or here we've got these useful icons here for attend an event or apply for a grant and view our galleries. We have some great galleries, but let's apply for a grant. All right, this is exactly what we had before. The current funding opportunities are here. When starts and projects, events, and festivals open, I think early next week, you will find those here as well. And all of these resources. And we're going to go to submittable. So this is the new portal that we are using. So you should land here. If you have a history with us, at all. If you have any kind of granting history with us, or your organization has a granting history with us anytime in the last 14-ish years, we have transferred your data into submittable. We've transferred the organizational data into submittable. You should have received an email from submittable asking you to log in. If you did not receive it, check spam. If you did not receive it, it may have gone to an older email address that was associated with the account. You know, somebody set up a submittable account 1,000 years ago, or set up our accounts 1,000 years ago, or within the last 14 years, and that person no longer works for the organization. And that may have been the email. If you did not receive it at all, do reach out to us so we can help. If you did receive an email, you should have received either an access code, or a username and a password and a link, and that meant you did not have a submittable account, and you should be setting it up. If you received an email and there was no code or username, it meant that you have a submittable account. In either case, if you could not access the account from there, you want to reach out to their submitter support email. And Ben, if you could drop that email in the chat, please, and they will help get you access to the account. But we have transferred and migrated the organizations into submittable. If you are having problems finding any of that, do reach out to us. But everybody should have, all organizations with a history with us should have access to this account. All right. So I think, already logged in, which is great. But you can see here we have our list of open accessible applications. So PABC, the Art Bank just opened, and then these are the three general operating support. So the single year application, the multi-year application, and capacity building. Capacity building is only for brand new organizations if you've never applied for a grant from us. If you have questions about that, or if you think you or somebody you know might be eligible, that workshop is tomorrow at noon. Spend some time with us. So if you're going to apply for any of them, let's say I'm going to apply for capacity building, I'm going to click apply. And actually, if I go back here, I'm going to go back one, you should be able to get the guidelines. Some rough outlines will be there and some other resources. So I'm going to click apply. As it turns out, I am not signed in, so I'm going to sign in now. And nobody gets to know my password. All right, so I'm in. I am now in the capacity building application. So I'm just going to run through so we can see what this looks like. We've got the name of your organization, my organization. I have not applied. I'm going to do and then you're going to go through these eligibility questions.
Hey, Carrie, will any of those questions affect my application when I submit it? Will panelists be looking at these questions at all during the paneling process?
Great question. They will not. Um, this is a really good note here. Things
I'm
like
sorry, this person is not available. If you would
if you have changed your address, we just want to know because there are some other steps we need to take to update some other status around working with DC government. So this is just informational for us. There's also two questions here on the use of AI in any part of your application materials, purely informational. This will not affect your scores or your reviews. We just want to know what's going on. So do please answer honestly. We would like to know things. And then you're going to get into your request. So this is the organizational profile. We are in Ward 8. I am today in my made-up organization. I'm into miming. Great. And I'm also into uh, architecture. I'm an architecture mime. That's today's decision. These disciplines are the NEA codes. Please pick the one that best suits the work that you do. And same with institution type. You want to be, whatever organization sounds right for the work that you do. And today I am a, uh, I'm a cultural series organization. I like making them up every time we do this. And I've got a founding date. I was 101 23. Great. Okay, 2003. And I have a start date and I have an end date. Isn't that great? And then I would put in my mission and vision here. We have then uh, our programs. You can have, I think, up to 5 programs here, projects or programs. But after you fill out what your first one is going to be, then you can always add another program. Say yes or no. You can add as many, you can add what you need to, I think up to 5, like I said, but you can just keep adding them as you go. You do not, if you only have the one program, that's fine, if you're a small organization like that. Then we have the capacity and sustainability questions. So this is going to be getting into your finances. We're going to have our community access and engagement questions. We've got our community impact questions, and then the work samples and uploads. Um, the work samples and uploads, I want to note for folks. On these sections, you can see the file types that are acceptable. For the most part, we would love to have documents as PDF. And if you have any problems or concerns about saving them or converting files, do please let us know because we can help with that. That's, what we're good at is tech support. But we do want most things saved and uploaded as a PDF. But we do have these lists at the bottom of what are the acceptable file types, which really matters when we get down here to the work samples themselves. So a lot of this is the financial documents and compliance documents. I do want to mention the district government funding form is available on our website. The updated version is on the website. You can also, there is a link here to access the form that will take you to the form that you need. And we have that for a couple of things like for the IRS and other places. When you get down though to the support materials and work samples, so this would be things like the video, the images, the audio, the work that you're doing, a compilation of reviews of work, anything like that. We have a broader category of what those file types could be. So you should be able to upload directly, if it's an MP4, it's a MO file, anything like that. We've got some options. One thing that is very different here, though, compared to last year, we do not have a direct embedded YouTube viewer or Vimeo viewer. So if you are uploading a video, we do want the file itself. If you have any issues with that or any concerns about accessing that, again, let us know, reach out to us so that we can help give some best guidance on how to get those files up there. Yeah. And then, if you have timestamps, if your video that you want to upload is a 20-minute video, but you only want us to watch 5 minutes of it, it is great to tell us that up here in the work sample statement. It's like, hey, there's a video here. It's our spring recital. You should start watching at minute 7. And that's the information we would want, along with the statement of describing how and why the arts and humanities and/or arts education content or scope of services in the material uploaded best represents the applicant. Yeah, great. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing that. Because when you would finish that, you would be done and you would submit the application and you would get a confirmation email. I have tested it. I have gotten the confirmation email. So I know it works, which is great. All right. So back in here, just a note, grant staff are available to review your application materials for compliance and completion up to 1 week prior to the deadline. So we want you on our schedule 1 week prior to the deadline. Once again, the deadline is May 5th, 2026, which means that 1 week before the deadline is April 28th, 2026. So we want you to have reached out to us if you're going to need that review by the 28th. That is so that we have time to review and give you feedback that's meaningful and isn't just, hey, it looks like stuff was there. Yeah, great. Any other questions? Thanks for dropping all your links in there, Ben.
No problem.
Great. All right. So just real quick, a lot of this should be familiar for people, but the uploads that will support your narrative, support materials up to 3 internally produced items like curriculums, strategic plans, marketing materials. If you have 5 reviews of a project or a program you put together and you compile them into a document, that is 1 item with 5 component parts. It is not 5 different items. So if you've got things that are multiples of the same type of item, that is going to count as 1 item. If you want any guidance on that, that's what we're here for. Externally produced items would be reviews, commendations, letters of support. And then the work samples addendum is in the RFA and is also in the guide to grants. And that will help support the application. Again, if you have questions about any of these pieces, do reach out to us so we can take a look. And then again, documents of all kinds, please save and upload them in a PDF file format.
Hey, I don't know what GOS later today with David Markey would be. I don't see
It
that
should be
either.
the multi-year Q&A. I thought I
the
published
multi-year.
that.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
I will.
yeah.
I will drop the link for that in the
Thank
chat.
you. Appreciate that. Important note here, though, on work sample content and really the whole application. We guide our panelists to review only within the 4 corners of the application, so only what is provided there. And they are not expected or advised to click on any outside links or content. So if you put in a linked website, it may not be seen by reviewers and it will not be regarded as part of the review. If you do think that parts of your website, online articles, or social media posts are really important for the application, you can screenshot them, you can screen record them, attach as an image. But if you have questions about that, again, reach out to us so that we can help you brainstorm the best way to present your materials. A couple of additional tips and work sample tricks. So review panelists are required to review the work samples, but they are not guaranteed to review work samples beyond a recommended number. So if you are certain that you have to upload 6 videos, we may not review all of them. And we will probably come to you and say, like, we got to cut this down to 2 videos. What are they going to be? We do want a clear name or label and some brief guidance on the work samples and documents so that we know what we're reviewing. You want to make sure that reviewers have the information they need to best understand your work sample or support material. And for project-based grants, examples of similar projects can really help illustrate your abilities. Just in general, if you can play it and view it, we should be able to play it and view it. So do double check and make sure that your samples are playable and that things are working. We want some recent high quality samples. We really want samples from within the last 3 years of work. We do have some file upload limits, but we are testing them out. The new system is the new system. And just in general, adding more than the recommended number of work samples can weaken it as much as strengthen it. So you really want to curate things like that. So as a reminder on those video submissions, we cannot take the YouTube or Vimeo links. We want those files directly. Again, if you are going to have any issues with that or you're having problems or things aren't uploading, let us know as soon as possible. Like I said, it is a new system. We are learning with you. So we want to be able to help fix things if anything goes wrong. And then, yes, if you have a work sample video that is longer than 5 minutes, do put some timestamps in. It just helps guide us. This is no longer accurate for audio submissions. They do play from start to finish, but we should be able to actually do some scrubbing now. So I should take this slide out. If you need to do any screenshots or screen capturing, there's keyboard shortcuts. There's a lot of things. We do recommend downloading any online reviews or articles and saving as a PDF. If you need help with anything, like I said, we are here. We are true experts at converting to PDF now. All right, and I think we're pretty okay on questions so far. I'm sorry if I feel like I'm rushing through. We just have a lot of material in this workshop.
Very good. I put the Eventbrite so that
Perfect.
question and answer was only on the Eventbrite. It wasn't on the website. So
Great.
that's one
Yeah.
reason to follow the Eventbrite.
Yeah. Great. Thank you. All right. So a couple of additional documents we're going to require. We do want a picture of your finances. So an IRS Form 990, we would like the one for the most recently completed fiscal year. Look, taxes are due tomorrow, guys. I barely got mine done. We want the most recently completed one. So if you have one, if you are not quite ready with your most recent one, we want the one from the year before. We just don't want it to be too old. We would like to have your current budget, and we'd like to, in the projects and programs section, have projected costs for the upcoming year that we would be using the grant for. We're also going to want a balance sheet for your most recently completed fiscal year. Pretty sure I asked for the budget already. And a profit and loss statement from your most recently completed fiscal quarter. The District of Columbia FY26 and FY27 funding form is available now. So please check our website. We do have a link there. And that's just a picture of what funding you're receiving. We would also like a certificate of liability insurance for general coverage. We have some notes here about it, including a waiver of subrogation, and us as a certificate holder, we have the language for that and are more than happy to give it to you. So that's what this looks like in a certificate of liability insurance in the direct description of operations box, which is down here at the bottom. We need this language that we are named as additional assured, and we need a waiver of subrogation, and certificate holder box should have our address. If you need this at all, please ask us. We will send it to you, and you can forward it to your insurer. They usually know exactly what we're talking about when we ask for this, and it's a pretty easy thing to do. Also, as far as certificate of insurance, we only need a cover page like this Accord cover page. I do not need your full 200-page policy. Please don't send me your full 200-page policy. I just need this one document. We would like to have a current board of directors list. We'd like to know their roles. We'd like to know their responsibilities briefly, and as best comfortable home addresses and wards. Same with resumes of key personnel. Who are they? That might be your artistic, managing, or executive directors, your chief programming staff, what their role is, their area of responsibility, and where they live. We want your panelists to be able to assess the skill of the artists and administrators. So we're also going to ask for a 501c3 letter of determination, your Form 990, the most recently submitted, your new W-9. Just a note that PO boxes are prohibited. We do need a physical address. And we do want that address to match the one that we have in the portal and in the diff system. If there is a mismatch, just let us know so we can help get that updated. You won't be penalized. You know, you moved last year and everything was fine. Like, just let us know so we can make sure we get everything squared away. It needs to be the March 2024 version, the most updated version. We linked it out on our website and in the application. And anything that is asking for a signature, we do need it to be ink, a manual signature, or a verified e-signature, digital signature. If you have problems with any of those, again, reach out to us. We would be happy to help you with that. Will the slides be available? They should be. I need to clean up a few slides and then I'll submit them to be included on the website. So this is that W-9. It looks the same as all the others. It just says March 2024 in the top left-hand corner. We do want to make sure that the names and addresses and everything are all up to date and that we have the right addresses linked. Like I said, it's really just so we can make things easier down the road. And this is an organizational grant, so we want your EIN number. Right. We're also going to want a certificate of clean hands. Close to the deadline, we'd like a statement of certification, and then we don't need that form. I could take that slide off. We really did replace the ODO with the district funding form. I'm gonna get rid of that. A quick note on the certificate of clean hands. You apply on mytax.dc.gov. You're going to download a PDF, and if you run into any problems, if you cannot get a certificate of clean hands by the deadline, reach out to us so we can help and we can give you guidance. This should not prevent anyone from applying. Useful shortcut though, if you're saying, yeah, it's a real pain, I hate logging in, I don't remember how to log into my tax or whatever, you can validate. If you are applying for GOS, unless you are in the capacity building cohort, you should already have a clean hands form somewhere. And if you don't have it, we have it. And I would be happy to send it back to you. In the clean hands that is issued after April 2020, in the top right-hand corner is a notice number. It starts with an L and has about 12 digits. If you use that with the last 4 digits of your tax ID, of your EIN, you can validate and get an updated clean hands. So on the MyTax website, in the clean hands box, there's a request, a validate, and learn more option. Request starts you at the beginning, validate uses the notice number. And you would just use the prompts. It's going to ask for the notice number, it's going to ask for the EIN, and then a certificate should appear at the end of it. If you run into any problems there, the worst that can happen with the validation is either the download button never appears, in which case, let us know. We'll tell you what to do. Or you'll get a notice of non-compliance. And non-compliance just means that you owe more than $100 to the government. This can be it's tax season. It could be some kind of outstanding bill. It could be parking tickets. It could be a lot of things. It's not going to tell you what it is, but it's just going to say you're non-compliant. If that is what you get and it is May 4th and you just need to get this application in, that's fine. Upload that, keep it moving, give them a call later. But that's how you validate it. It's much faster. And that we, as your grant managers, we do pull clean hands, excuse me, multiple times during the year. This is the process we use, so it works pretty well. Statement of certification should be pretty familiar to folks. We want the organization name. This is your 501c3. We want your address. Make sure this is the FY27, not 26, FY27 GOS program. I reused this slide, and you can tell. We do have a fillable PDF on our website, but yeah, this is the general operating support one. So first page we fill out, fourth page you fill out again. Excuse me. And the contact information here. Just a note, I know the fonts look really good. The signature-like fonts look really lovely. Excuse me. They will be rejected and pushed back to us. So, if you are having any issues, you're like, well, I don't have a printer and I don't have a scanner, so I can't print it out and sign it. Okay, let us know so we can help. You don't have, DocuSign works. We're happy to help send things through Adobe, anything like that. If you can pull it up on your phone and draw it in with your finger, fantastic. Also works fine. But things will get pushed back and that slows down the process. Uh, do fill out a new statement of certification for each grant application. If you are going to be applying for multiple grants this year, you're applying for GOS today, and you're going to apply for field trips later, and then you're going to apply for capital projects after that. We do want a new statement of certification for each one. If you are interested in e-signature tools, DocuSign and Adobe and others have some great resources. If you want help or some guidance on that, that's what we're here for. Any questions about certificate of insurance and what the language is going to be, send that to us. We will send you the exact language to copy and paste for your insurance rep. We do check your clean hands multiple times during a grant cycle, but yeah, that validate option is really great. It cuts down a lot of time. And then again, please upload everything as a PDF, please, for me. I'm begging you. If you have any problems with scanning or apps or anything like that, and you're saving images as PDFs, like let us, if you run into problems, we're happy to guide you. We'll tell you our favorite conversion tools, anything like that. But that's what we would like to have. All right, I'm gonna just tear into some final details here. And some fun reminders for folks, and then I'll have a little bit of open time at the end here. Ben mentioned that we have online live chats with CAH grant specialists. You can register for them. If you register for one of them, you will have the link for all of them. It is the same link the whole way through. That is so convenient of us. But Fridays from 1:30 to 3 p.m., you can have staff. We are hanging out. We are taking questions on all programs at that time. Come for 5 minutes, come for the whole time. Come with no questions, come with all the questions. It's just an opportunity to get some digital FaceTime because it is all over Zoom with grant specialists. You can also set up meetings with us. You want to reach out to us one-on-one for that. I do want to note we do have an extended one on April 28th. That is the last day to request a review with us to say, hey, can I get some feedback on my application? But that is a Tuesday, and we have this extra long session because it is a week before the deadline. Was there anything else I wanted to? Oh, right. That's the big thing. April 16th, this Thursday, is Emancipation Day. We are closed. DC government offices will be closed in observance of Emancipation Day. So if you are planning to have a crisis on Thursday, it's going to have to wait until Friday. We will get to you on Friday, but just if we are slow to respond on Thursday, that's what's going on. We will be back on April 17th. We will have our live chats then as per usual. All right, that's my big thing. This is my general call for panelists. We do need reviewers. We will have a virtual training. What grant panelists do is they review assigned applications and work samples prior to a panel day. They get to make a first round of scoring, and then they get to have a virtual panel where you can review and talk about and rescore all of the applications. We are going to have a database to help identify and select. Any information there is purely for informational purposes. I see that question about expected funding levels, and I will answer that in just a moment. So just a real quick timeline process. We are asking for panelists now, as we are asking for applications now. With any of this, after you become a panelist or are selected to serve as a panelist, you'll have a couple of weeks to review the applications. And then you have a panel day. They've been getting shorter and shorter. We always have a good time. We take some breaks. Everybody has a good vibe, and then we go home. And you do not make the final funding decisions. Those are subject to our budget and review. Uh, and you get one panel per year. And we do have a compensation for a $250 gift card. Okay. These are our staff contacts. You can reach out to Terrell, you can reach out to me, you can reach out to Kayla. Kayla is managing the capacity building. And so we are all available to help. Let me just see if I have another slide. No, it's thank you for joining. Let me bring this back up. And I've got some questions to answer. If you have paneled previously, should you reapply? It is great. We have you in the database, but it does not hurt to send a note to somebody to say, hey, I want to do this again. And I saw a question about the expected funding levels. Applications are placed into funding cohorts as they have in the past. We don't want to put the largest organizations against the smallest organizations, so we do divvy you up based on budget size. I don't know what the final funding levels are going to be like. This is your full disclosure. We are still under our budget for next year has not been finalized. As I think if anybody's been following the news, the budget has really just been submitted. So we are all going through a review process. And so we do not have a finalized budget yet. We are going to do the best to keep things as stable as possible, but we do not yet know our final numbers or what those final numbers are going to be like, or how programs are going to be impacted. Like I said, we're going to try and keep things as stable as possible. And if there are funding cuts or anything like that, they will impact all programs equally. We're not going to punish any one program or anything like that. So that is the best I can do. For a first-time applicant, we don't really have a recommended request amount. For this program, it's kind of open-ended. We're going to base things off of your budget, but also if you are a first-time applicant, if you have, it's really going to depend. If it's your first time ever, you've never applied to a grant with us before, then
I think
I'm going to wrap. Yeah.
we have applied before, but it may be many years. So just we don't have much of a baseline to go off of in recent years. So just trying to think of what would be an appropriate request, to re-engage.
No, for this one, it's going to be kind of open-ended. We're going to base things off of your budget, but also you might want to sit in on the capacity building workshop or watch one of the recordings. And reach out to us, reach out to Kayla, reach out to me so we can take a look at stuff.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. And that is technically the end of our workshop. I'm going to stick around for another couple of minutes, but I am going to stop the recording.